Thank you, Madam President, very much. It's good to see everybody. Thank you for inviting me here tonight. It's good to be in a room full of people. So I'm going to go right into my prepared remarks, as this is the annual State of the City address that is called for in our city charter. So good evening, and thank you, City Council President Flowers and City Council members. To members of the public here in attendance or watching at home on BevCam, thank you for your interest and your participation in helping to shape our wonderful city. To city department heads and other valued administration team members in attendance, thank you for your presence and for all your good work and your staff's good work day in and day out on behalf of the people of Beverly. To our Beverly Public School leadership, school committee members, colleagues of mine on school committee, and our dedicated school staff, thank you for all you do to educate our children and strengthen our community. Tonight, I'd like to focus our attention on some of the great and ambitious work of our Beverly City staff, a sampling of accomplishments of the past year, as well as some of the work that's ongoing and upcoming. This is a sharing of the outstanding professional work of our many great employees, the leadership and innovative efforts of our talented administration leadership across all city departments, the volunteer energy and advocacy of so many community members, and our collaborative work throughout local government, including in partnership with you as Beverly City Council. With all this in mind, it has been a great year in Beverly. With Commissioner Mike Collins' reorganization of the administration of the Department of Public Services, the new positions of Assistant Commissioner of Public Services and Business Manager were created and are now being ably filled by Eric Barber and Tracy Reardon. The promotion of Lisa Chandler to City Engineer marks the first time a woman has held this important leadership position in Beverly. The new asset management software, or EAM, Enterprise Asset Management, went live and continues to evolve as an important tool for document management, data collection, project management, and for capturing institutional knowledge across the organization. The engineering department continues to lead our road and sidewalk program, and they have helped guide the progress of multiple capital projects across the city, including the proposed new roundabout at the intersection of Brimble Ave and Dunham Road, the new traffic signal at the intersection of Spring Street, Corning Street, and Essex Street, and the final design of the Bridge Street reconstruction project. Our Council on Aging team, under the leadership of Chris Gomez-Farewell, has made great strides in making the Senior Center a more inclusive and vibrant space. Responding to our seniors, the team has added new programs, activities, and services, as well as improved transportation offerings, and daily visits to the Senior Center are up 63% this past year. To better engage our senior community, they made presentations at every senior housing building in Beverly, introduced more seniors to all we do, and solicited input on what our seniors want and need from our Beverly Council on Aging. New offerings at the Senior Center include a monthly spotlight on different countries, regions, and cultures, celebrating what always brings people together: music, food, dance, and history. Our team has increased language access at the Senior Center by purchasing a translation iPad, offering Spanish classes to seniors, and hiring staff who are fluent in Spanish. They have added several wellness and discussion groups, including a monthly LGBTQ+ discussion group, a regular caregiver support group, and weekly AA and OA meetings. For seniors looking for more physical activity, we've added several new exercise classes such as low-intensity training and Bali X. For seniors who enjoy the arts, we now offer 4-week art classes and recently held a very well-attended, although I didn't get there, I'll have to go to the next one, a paint and sip night. Make sure you folks know about that one. We also reintroduced live music and dancing on a monthly basis and brought back the senior soiree after a 4-year hiatus. The Council on Aging has also made our classes and programs more accessible, lowering fees to make them more affordable for our seniors. Transportation access is a major barrier for many seniors. In response, our Council on Aging leadership has expanded transportation offerings, increased outings and shopping trips, and now provides regular supermarket trips. Moving over to the library, Library Director Allison Babin and her team have been incredibly busy this past year, hosting over 150,000 visitors, being home to hundreds of meetings and programs, and seeing those visitors access nearly 500,000 books, magazines, and periodicals, both in hand and electronically. Some highlights include the following. We replaced the library's 1996 gas-powered van with a 2023 electric van. And here I want to say a special thanks to our outstanding Department of Public Services mechanics team for keeping the old van in safe and productive service for 27 years. They consistently do outstanding work keeping our vehicle fleet operational, just as many other DPS staff do tremendous work day in and day out, keeping our city and school buildings in outstanding condition. This year, library staff and community volunteers held fix-it clinics at each library location, keeping more than 150 pounds of material out of landfills. Through the North of Boston Library Exchange, our regional library partnership, the library implemented e-cards, which increase access to library resources, allowing residents to get immediate online access to electronic materials such as ebooks, audiobooks, magazines, and databases. Our team also expanded the library's seed library service, which offers free packets of vegetable and flower seeds. Recently, they distributed 1,000 free pair of eclipse glasses for safe viewing of last month's solar eclipse, and then ran a community drop-off so these glasses can be reused through Astronomers Without Borders. Our library team developed Tween Nights, new programming customized for those in grades 3 through 5. In 2 weeks from now, the library will hold a local author fair, Sunday, May 19th, where they expect 27 authors and approximately 200 public attendees. They've designed a new story walk featuring Amy Wu and The Perfect Bow by Kat Zhang to be displayed at select city locations this summer, including the Beverly Common, Lynch Park, and the Beverly Farms Branch Library. Summer reading kickoff will be held on June 12th on the Common, featuring a DJ, lawn games, and more. And last for now, the library will soon launch a monthly sensory-friendly story time for our kids. Our recreation department, led by Bruce Doig and John Paydall and their committed team, in partnership with many other city departments and volunteers, has completed and is working on a number of park improvements throughout the city. Work to transform the empty lots at number 14 and number 34 Simon Street into vibrant neighborhood parks will be complete this summer. 14 Simon Street is nearly finished with benches, picnic tables, pollinator garden planters, and trees due to be installed soon. 34 Simon Street will feature playground equipment along with a turf play area, benches, and picnic tables once final preparations are made to this lot later this month. The basketball hoops at Lindsay Park have already been upgraded with new fiberglass backboards and collapsible rims. Councilor Rotundo, thanks for the advocacy and for the shout out with a picture of the new hoops up and running. The existing poles were straightened and secured to ensure they meet standards for height, etc. Meantime, the basketball hoops at Dix Park will also be upgraded with new fiberglass backboards and collapsible rims. Once installed, the entire court will be repaved with a generous donation from Benevento Paving. We have purchased 12 new AED units to be installed soon at fields and parks around Beverly. We're planning to purchase 4 more as soon as a state earmark is received. And in partnership with a number of local sports organizations and local businesses, and especially thanks to the leadership of local nonprofit Ready to React, a total of 22 locations in Beverly will have AEDs available for emergency use this summer. The plan is to continue fundraising to be able to purchase 15 more units for Beverly Parks, bringing the total to 37 locations. To date, the City of Beverly has committed over $30,000 to this effort. After a collaborative and productive process with neighbors and pickleball players, and with special thanks to Councilor Feldman for her leadership, we opened 4 new pickleball courts at Birch Plains Park in November of last year. In October last year, we restored the historic stairway from Gillis Park down to the beach along the Bass River to provide improved, safe access to the beach for residents. Construction began this week at Cahill Park and Kimball Haskell Park, or should I say Centerville and Cove Playgrounds, to replace 3 tennis courts with newly constructed and painted tennis courts, which will provide beautiful new courts for residents to enjoy. This project is expected to be completed by early summer. The first phase of our new park signage project, including wayfinding signs for 14 of our parks, has begun. These signs have been ordered and will be installed soon. Phases 2 and 3 of this project will include more wayfinding signs for the rest of our 28 public parks and playing fields, as well as regulatory signs for all of our parks. Last summer, the Recreation Department staffed 11 playgrounds with instructors and counselors in training for 8 weeks in the summer for their free summer parks program. They also ran 4 day camps for children aged 3 to 13 for 8 weeks at Lynch Park and hosted eight special events for children from all over Beverly throughout the summer. And in preparation for this summer's Camp and Parks programs, they are in the process of hiring and training over 70 staff members and counselors in training. With combined funding from a state park grant, the city's Community Preservation Act, and the David S. Lynch Fund, we will begin a major renovation at Holcroft Park beginning this summer. The plan includes a replacement of the playground equipment, of the pavilion with a new larger space, of the basketball court, as well as new benches, new picnic tables, a bottle filling station, and the improvement of walkways around the park. We are receiving designs for the various components of this project and will meet with neighbors again in June prior to construction. This year, the Executive Office restarted the Mayor's Art Gallery program on the first floor of City Hall, displaying student artwork from all 8 of the city's public schools, representing over 200 student artists. And I want to especially thank Ronnie Jacobson, our Constituent Services Director, for her work with our fantastic art teachers at our 8 schools to bring all of this incredible student artwork to City Hall for the public's enjoyment. Our Senior Tax Work-Off program helped over 50 seniors in 2023 and has grown this year to over 90 seniors who recently started their 2024 hours, helping the city in a variety of ways, for example, at the city's Community Gardens and Parks Beautification program, or with digitizing city records for the engineering, planning, and fire departments. Big thanks to my Chief of Staff, Jocelyn Ruel-Kursker, and Executive Secretary Martha Lewis for all their great work on this and other programs. With the leadership of Ronnie Jacobson and the Assistant Beverly Recreation Department Director, John Padall, we are excited to be officially launching our first Beverly Youth Council, a great opportunity for our young people to learn more about local government, engage and support city programming, and advocate for youth issues. For the first time, the city has access to settlement funds from the nationwide class action suit against pharmacies that profited from opioids. Well, so many people and families have been hurt by the addiction opioids brings to many. As mayor, I asked the health department, the police department, and the school department to work together and make recommendations for how to make these funds, how to make sure these funds have a positive difference in the lives of those harmed by opioids. The first recommendation of this group is the health department's new social services navigator position. This position has been created to connect Beverly residents with the resources they need, such as housing assistance, food security, substance use treatment, and more. Without this position, many residents may never be able to navigate these systems on their own. Feedback was solicited from Beverly residents, and they support the creation of this position. With my support and in partnership with the police department, Beverly Public Schools, and the Be Healthy Beverly Coalition, the city has determined this position is critical and will have a substantial direct impact on residents. Special thanks to Health Director Laura Delakai, Police Chief John Elasher, and School Superintendent Dr. Suzanne Chirocic for their leadership here. Last year, our Hazardous Buildings Working Group, in partnership with the Attorney General's Neighborhood Renewal Division, made 3 distressed properties safe, helping make 3 neighborhoods safer. Of necessity, the city has also taken ownership of 1 building, 106 Hull Street, and we continue to work to abate nuisances which may affect the public at that property. The Hazardous Buildings Working Group has created stronger interdepartmental collaboration, allowing the city to assist residents in other poor housing situations before their properties become uninhabitable. On another front, with 80% of the funding coming from state harbor grants, the city took ownership of the former Rowan's Fish Market, completed asbestos removal from the building, then demolished it to create needed additional waterfront district parking. Over the last few years, we've made new investments in vehicles across the city, in particular in the fire department. Last year, the department took delivery of a new pickup truck to be used as a forestry truck. That forestry truck is used both in the city and serves as part of a regional Forestry Task Force. Our new pumper truck was ordered last summer and is currently in queue at the Ferrara Fire Apparatus in Holden, Louisiana. This pumper will replace Engine 1 at Central Fire Station when it arrives. In the coming weeks, the Quint truck, which serves as backup to the new ladder truck, will be picked up by Pierce Manufacturing to begin a rebuild of that chassis. The truck should be back in service by August. In the meantime, we continue to use a Boston ladder truck as our backup. A new fire alarm system was installed at Central Fire Station, giving the building a permanent interconnected system. All 3 stations now have their own fire alarm systems. Thanks to Fire Department Chief Peter O'Connor and his department for their leadership. Over to the Police Department under Chief LaLarche's leadership, our Police Department has implemented the new computer-aided dispatch and records management system, modernizing and improving our capacity and allowing us to more efficiently share information with surrounding agencies. They also secured a new mental health grant to train police and fire personnel in critical incident mental health care. This will support an instructor to teach critical incident training and mental health training to local area police and firefighters from within Beverly and beyond. Beverly Police Department has also become a leader regionally for opioid recovery coaching. Our move to a combined civilian, emergency medical services, police, and fire dispatch system housed in our new police station has progressed significantly. Thanks to the leadership of Stephanie Brown, our dispatch supervisor, working collaboratively with colleagues in our police, fire, and human resources departments, we have now hired 5 new civilian dispatchers to join 5 current fire alarm operators who have already been undergoing training in preparation for the transition to the Beverly Dispatch Center. Significant training for all our civilian dispatchers is underway, with the goal of our dispatch operation being fully civilian by this fall. Once achieved, the uniformed police officers who have served in the primary dispatch seat 24 hours a day will be available full-time to serve out in the community while trained civilian dispatchers staff the system. Our Veterans Office, under the leadership of Veterans Agent David Perenchief, continues to provide outstanding service to Beverly's veterans and their surviving spouses. This past year, our team prevented the eviction of 3 veterans from their housing. The Toys for Tots giveaway, in conjunction with the Beverly school system, supplied toys to over 100 Beverly families, and much planning has gone into the upcoming 2nd annual Warrior Weekend, which will take place on the campus of Beverly High School during the weekend of May 17th through 19th. Ten years ago, in the spring of 2014, in proposing my first budget as your mayor, I proposed the new position of Grants Director. Recognizing the need for professional expertise in this area, as Beverly has great need both in supporting the many social service needs of our residents and in making investments in our complex infrastructure, I requested the City Council's support in creating this position, and a majority of the City Council in 2014 voted to create the Grants Director position. It has been a huge success over the last decade, bringing in many millions of dollars we would not otherwise have secured, as well as supporting our many departments in grants administration, such as through data collection and satisfying reporting requirements. In this current fiscal year, the City of Beverly has again secured a significant amount of grant revenues to support many municipal projects and initiatives. The city applied for 80 grants and has been awarded 73. That is an impressive 91% grant award rate that our Director of Grants, Catherine Barrett, department heads, and staff members worked incredibly hard to achieve. The 73 grants that were received total over $5 million in revenues for the city. An additional $7.9 million in FY24 grant revenues is pending and awaiting notifications. Some of the larger grant awards this past year include $750,000 for the Brimble Avenue Dunham Road roundabout design work, and we're planning and preparing to submit a construction grant application through the same MassWorks program for the roundabout in the next month. $400,200 for the Holcroft Park improvements I touched on earlier, and $325,375 for the Lynch Park Resiliency Study. I'm grateful for the outstanding leadership and collaborative team-first approach of our Grants Director, Catherine Barrett. During the last year, our team in the City Solicitor's Office, City Solicitor Stephanie Williams, Assistant Solicitors Jesse Dole and Bethel Mixon, and our paralegal, Dylan, have handled a wide variety of issues and projects with great professionalism. Among other things, the office finalized and filed the city's home rule petition amending the city charter and guided it through the legislative process in time for the November 2023 election. They successfully obtained an appeals court decision upholding a special permit granted by the Zoning Board of Appeals that will now allow an established family-owned carpentry business, Landry and Akari, to renovate and open at the Vittoria Rocky Post. They guided and assisted the City Council's Legal Affairs Subcommittee in its review of city ordinances and drafted the subcommittee's report. They assisted with the drafting and successful passage of the accessory dwelling unit ordinance. They assisted with drafting and successful passage of the sidewalk dining ordinance, which makes it easier for businesses to have outdoor dining in our city and reduces burdens on businesses who wish to place items such as sandwich board signs in front of their business. They drafted multiple amendments to the city's parking ordinances, drafted amendments to the Human Rights Committee ordinance. They refined the process. This is a big one. They refined the process for accepting private ways as public, and they've worked extensively with my office, engineering department, and neighborhoods across the city to implement this new process. They also advised on the establishment of the Beverly Youth Council. Also, the law department handled the eminent domain-friendly taking of the downtown parcel, known to most as the Family Dollar Store building and parking lot. Working with Caitlin Beleza, director of the Beverly Public Schools English Learners Program, and with the city's IT department, the mayor's office launched an iPad translation program. Now visitors to City Hall, whose primary language is not English, have an accessible and effective way to use technology to communicate with the collector's office, the clerk's office, and the Beverly Public Library. Plans are underway to expand this offering, and as you heard earlier, the Council on Aging has already taken advantage of that at the Senior Center. To our racial equity work, Phase 2 of our audit work is 2/3 complete. Now all department heads have received training to develop a shared understanding of structural racism and unconscious bias, highlighting how currently and in the past these concepts have shaped life in America and in Beverly. And this training will now be expanded to more staff members along with action planning and support for the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging Office. Achieving racial equity can be defined as when all people are able to achieve their full potential in life, regardless of race, ethnicity, or the community in which they live. Given that disparities continue, we in Beverly recognize the critical need for our city government to continue to engage actively in this work. Thanks to Wangari Fahari, our DEIB director, and to Jocelyn Ruel-Kursker for their great leadership in our diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging work. Over the past 2 years, environmental investigations and cleanup of the former variance site have progressed. In 2022 and 2023, the project team identified and selected updated treatment alternatives for 6 areas, prepared detailed implementation plans, and have begun installing these systems. Using state earmark funding secured by State Representative Jerry Paracella and State Senator Joan Lovely, always our active partners in everything we do, the city brought on our own licensed site professional, Sage Environmental, to monitor and to advise on variance progress. We continue to work with state and federal officials to move the Beverly Bridges replacement projects forward. MassDOT is targeting a spring 2025 completion of permitting and design for the temporary Hall-Whitaker Bridge so they can advertise by then for construction on the temporary bridge to begin by fall 2025. In the meantime, they are progressing on design work for the permanent replacement Hall-Whitaker and Kernwood bridges. We continue to push them to meet and improve all timelines wherever possible. Our planning department, led by Planning Director Darlene Wynn and her team, reports the following accomplishments this past year. The accessory dwelling unit ordinance was passed, and 4 applications have thus far been submitted pursuant to the new ordinance, with more interest and inquiries coming on a regular basis. The sidewalk usage ordinance amendment recently passed. Planning staff are working with interested business owners and have reviewed 3 applications for this outdoor season thus far. Thanks in large part, transitioning here. Thanks in large part to a federal earmark secured by Congressman Seth Moulton, another full-time partner in all we do in Beverly. The Salem Skipper rideshare service has been expanded into Beverly and Danvers, effective this past week, May 1st. Councilor Spang, I understood you tried it out the other day. This effort will be piloted for the next 2 years in hopes that this will show a demand that can lead to longer-term state and federal funding support. Also in planning, the creation of a public reservation at Moraine Farm has moved forward. The state approval of the conservation restriction, which will be held by the city, being the key necessary piece to more comprehensively open the campus to public enjoyment. As part of the benefits to the community of Beverly, the trustees of reservations' commitment to prepare and manage our Beverly Community Garden on site has been finalized. The city's garden has moved from Cole Street to the Moraine Farm campus along Cabot Street, and the planting season has begun. For anyone interested, this new garden has a significantly greater capacity than the Cole Street site, and garden plots are still available for this planting season. Working with the dedicated volunteers on our Open Space and Recreation Committee, planning staff helped to complete a significant trail extension and improvements in Sally Milligan Park, and I encourage you all to check it out. Last for now, the Planning Department's one-to-one technical assistance program has provided support to local businesses, working with 10 or more new and existing businesses each month. On the clean energy front, after a several years-long effort to secure state support, on May 1st, we launched our electricity aggregation program, Beverly Community Electric, which is now providing affordable and clean energy options to over 15,000 Beverly homes and businesses. I want to make special thanks here to the volunteers on our Clean Energy Advisory Committee, who, as some of you remember, spent significant time several years ago working with all of us to help educate us on the importance and the opportunity here. It then took us almost 3 years to get state approval for a variety of reasons that had nothing to do with our community, but it's here, the program's in place, and these volunteers deserve our gratitude. Most significantly with this program, residents and businesses are saving money on the supply of their electricity compared to the National Grid basic rate they were paying, and our collective buying power has increased the amount of clean, renewable energy that makes up our local electric supply by about 7.5 megawatts. For comparison, or for context, the ground mount array on the hillside next to Beverly High School generates about 2 megawatts. For further comparison, 7.5 megawatts can power close to 1,000 homes with clean energy per year. At the same time, with a combination of state and federal grant funding and city funds, we have advanced critically important coastal resiliency projects at both Lynch Park and Aubert Park, learning how best to protect the places we love from the impacts of climate change. Both of these projects are in the design and permitting phase, and we will complete this work as quickly as possible so we can get to the implementation of the measures that will protect our parks for decades to come. All of our sustainability work is led by our Sustainability Director, Irina Keefe, and our Sustainability Program Manager, Ibrahim Lopez Hernandez, and I am incredibly grateful for them. Jim Butler, our Inspectional Services Director, reports that our Inspectional Services Department implemented OpenGov, our new online permitting system, on January 2nd of this year, and it has been a great success. Community members give it strong reviews, as do contractors. In the 4 months using it, we have taken in over $1.1 million in permit fees, and it has freed up our clerks who have done a great job in preparing the department to start digitizing its records. As new airport manager Gabe Hannafin completes his first year in his position, he reports the following. Last year was the busiest year for the airport in terms of flights since 2003. The airport secured nearly $312,000 in federal and state investment with an estimated $1.2 million in grants expected this year in preparation for the upcoming runway project and other infrastructure improvements around the airfield. This project will completely rebuild the main runway and add pavement on either end. In replacing and adding this pavement, the runway will be a safer surface for all aircraft using the airport. We're also working to complete a replacement of approximately 7,000 linear feet of perimeter fencing to increase airfield security and reduce the risk of wildlife interference with aircraft. The Noise Abatement Subcommittee successfully completed an update of the noise abatement procedures and continues to do outreach with our neighbors with a focus on the airport being the best neighbor we can be. An Airport Innovation Subcommittee was recently formed to explore new technologies available to airports and ways our airport can run more efficiently and more responsibly. Our Human Resources Department, led by Pauline Teixeira and staffed ably by Jen Smith and Mary Sullivan, is implementing a speaker series to provide quality information related to employees and retirees' interests, including financial planning, health and wellness, and workplace safety. This week, our first presenter, a representative from Altus Vision, will outline a new vision plan that we are offering to employees and retirees as of July 1st. This benefit is at no cost to the city. In July, we will have a speaker from Maya, All One Health, to talk with our staff about de-escalation techniques for municipal employees. In September of last year, the City of Beverly converted the prescription portion of the Medicare supplement plans for our retirees to a group Medicare Part D plan. This resulted in significant savings for both the city and our retirees. Prior to this change, prescription drug coverage was offered directly through Blue Cross Blue Shield, and our costs were based strictly on the city retirees' claims utilization. Upon the conversion to the Medicare Part D plan, we became part of a community-rated plan, which drastically reduced the cost of prescription coverage. This change resulted in city savings alone of $2.2 million in the first year, while each retiree saved between $500 to $1,000 annually. I joined with the HR team, the city's healthcare consultant, and Blue Cross staff and held multiple educational sessions that were well intended by our retirees. We also worked with individuals to ensure that our retirees understood the new program and had the opportunity to have questions answered and help afforded them as they transitioned. Procurement, led by our purchasing agent, David Gelano, is dedicated to ensuring that supplies, services, and construction required for the efficient operation of the City of Beverly are delivered in a fair, competitive, and cost-effective manner, and in compliance with all applicable Massachusetts general laws. This past year, we implemented a tighter, improved purchase order process in our software platform, Munis, allowing the city to strengthen internal controls on spending and budgeting at the departmental level. Utilizing our software platform, Munis, purchase order workflow has allowed us to streamline this process to increase efficiency across all departments. On the financial front, the City of Beverly has received again, and for the 8th consecutive year, the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting by the Government Finance Officers Association, the nation's premier association for government finance professionals. Much thanks always goes to our Finance Director, Brian Dales, and his talented team, led by Rose Jafrida, Carol Ogalevich, Terry de Blasi, Amit Chiani, and Russ Fisk. Now, while the city has consistently posted financial documents to our website for years, including the budget books and comprehensive annual financial reports, additional information is often sought out by citizens, by residents. Oftentimes, that information is most easily understood through interactive charts and graphs. In fiscal year 2023, our operating budget began to be presented in a digital format. As a result, the city's various departments can more easily collaborate on the budget, city council members have better access, and residents can better understand the City of Beverly's finances, from capital planning and debt structures to the overall financial position of the city. As a reminder to us all, as we enter budget season, we have built over the last decade plus the reserves needed to carry us through the next recession. which have contributed to us maintaining a stellar bond rating of AA+. As of June 30th of last year, our stabilization fund balance was $18,899,000, which represents 11.5% of our proposed fiscal year operating budget for fiscal year 2025. Our free cash or cash reserve balance was $11,355,000, which represents 6.9% of the proposed fiscal year operating budget. Best financial practices advise municipalities to carry reserves to guard against revenue shortfalls and possible recessions. As a result of our financial structure and potential exposure, our policy targets a combined reserve balance equal to 13 to 23% of our general fund operating budget. Together, our stabilization fund and cash reserves as of June 30th of last year total 18.4% of our proposed fiscal year 2025 general fund operating budget. At 18.4%, we're right in the middle of that 13 to 23% range, and this is consistent with our financial reserves policy, which we formally adopted in 2018, and puts us in a strong financial position. However, please note two key considerations. One, we collectively look to our cash reserves each year to help pay for needed one-time purchases, like our new fire department ladder truck and our new pumper truck, and to defray the costs of projects like the new police station, renovations to Central Fire Station, City Hall, our public library, and other building projects. With the help and counsel of Finance Director Bryant Ailes and his team, in addition to outside financial advisors and bond counsel, as well as your own City Council budget analyst, Jerry Perry, we collectively balance our demands for critical city investments with the ability to replenish our cash reserves to healthy levels each year. And two, this year, the city is spending an average of $2.2 million per week on our schools and city employees' payroll and health care costs, while we are further mandated by federal and state governments to spend $1.1 million per month to fund our pension system, and we also spend $753,000 per month to pay debt costs for our capital projects, such as our schools and our police station. These employee costs are our most significant cost, totaling $127.6 million in fiscal year 2024. Our debt service costs for fiscal year 2024 total roughly $9.04 million. We need to continue our focus on strong reserves to see us through the next recession, as the very point of these reserves is to ensure that we are able to continue to educate our children, to keep our residents safe, and to provide enriching and meaningful services as the very point of reserves is to ensure we are able to continue to educate our children, keep our residents safe, and provide enriching and meaningful services for all our residents whenever the next real economic downturn hits, and that we are able to continue to deliver these critically important services at a high level right on throughout any hard times. Let me say this again. Our reserves are meant to get us through a recession when revenues fall precipitously, and to do so without wholesale layoffs and drastic deep cuts to critical services. These reserves are not meant to be used to outspend still strong and growing revenues during good economic times. They are meant to help us keep delivering the services people need and rely on right through the worst economic times and through economic recovery from those bad times. In closing, I want to thank our highly professional, creative, and talented department heads, senior staff, and all our frontline administrative support staff, without whose leadership we would not be able to deliver the consistently outstanding city services our residents need. We would not be able to expertly maintain and improve our city infrastructure, and we would not be in the strong financial position that we are in today. As a city, we face many challenges, both this budget season and in the coming years. I am grateful for the professionalism and the commitment to this community that members of my administration bring to their work every day of the year. Thanks in significant part to their contributions, the state of our city remains strong. With their partnership and with yours, I know the state of our city will improve and become ever stronger well into the future. Thank you so much for your time.